Hey guys, I'll be looking at why our gut microbiome has changed through the centuries, why a probiotic pill won't be your cure-all, and how a couple of taboo topics that you probably won't hear anywhere else can actually help us fight disease and infections. So stay tuned. I appreciate you tuning in for this episode of the Go With Your Gut podcast, where we focus on how to be more in tune with those gut instincts and spiritual actions that we're being called to do to make healthy and positive changes to ourselves, our family, our community, and of course the world around us. Today, I'm going to begin a series dedicated to looking into how the gut will be the lead in a new frontier on our health. Let me ask you a question. At what stage in your life are you in trying to be at your most optimal health? Are you eating healthy? Are you exercising, taking supplements? And while all of those are useful and beneficial, the new frontier of better health actually lies in our bellies. We all can make small changes to our day in order to find a better quote-unquote sweet spot to improve something in our lives. Maybe drink a different kind of coffee, make more natural shampoos, health and beauty products, drink more water, but the center of change lies in an area that we can't see, and I'm talking about your gut flora and microbiome. That's where the true nature of making a significant, deep impact on your overall health can actually take place. Pick up a newspaper, and I'm sure you might see some article related to some health-related issue that indicates a breakdown of the immune system, and as you know, most of that immune system actually resides in the gut. The amount of research dedicated to finding a correlation between our intestines and then diseases has picked up within the last several years, which is something unheard of and probably scoffed and laughed at, let's say 15 or 20 years ago. The bottom line is that if you've had what I call an aha moment and are at that spot in your life where you need or you want or you just have to make changes in your health or else something would happen, you should actually begin to look deeply into why your microbiome is so important and then Google whatever issue is ailing you and then gut microbiome and research more into what you find. I'm not sure how much I have to say this, but our body is a complete system. Everything is connected. We are not like Mr. Potato Head where you take a brain, stick it on a spine, you have arms sticking out. Everything works in tandem to actually move our limbs that come out from that spine, to walk, to move, to talk, and then any other functional movement that you may have. All of the organs in our body are connected. So if you've ever heard the phrase by Descartes, I think, therefore I am, you might get impressed that it's maybe as simple as that, thinking that you are a singular being acting by only what your brain interprets as reality. Of course, this doesn't relate to our common biology. Our reality is what our body creates through the interaction it has with every other organ, either directly or indirectly. Now, when it comes to treating that health, the medical community rarely looks at anything more than simply treating what is at the end result and what that might be, a disease, some body part stops working, or even death. And I'm not really sure what the reason for that is, and it's probably a good topic of conversation, but could it be that our health at this exact moment is simply the result of a cumulative amount of actions and reactions that have taken place since the moment we were conceived? Our complete life story and our daily habits contribute to what ails us today. And rather than saying because I drank a Coke for 10 years was the reason I developed ulcers, we might say that it was that, plus the antibiotics that you took from food poisoning in college, plus your lack of increase in your blood flow capacity through cardio over 40 years that contributed to that as well. Now, the health of our body at this very moment is because, as I said, a cumulative effect on our life's work. And in order to address any gut-related issue, it's important to look at it that way. Now, if I had my way or money, I would probably spend my time dedicated to learning how gut health is connected to diseases of our immune system or how it can help break down our autoimmunity really in general. And branching out from there, I think that I'd probably begin to see that skin-related issues and mental health issues all stem from the health and well-being of our gut. Science is actually starting to spend time and money on it, but there's still a long way to go because of maybe the skepticism or uncertainty as to why our health originates in the gut. I mean, how many psychologists and psychiatrists would still be in practice today if there was a consensus based on scientific fact that mental health disorders could be traced back to the disorders of the gut? Probably not many. Fix the gut, fix the mind, I say. But right now, science seems to take the chicken and the egg approach when it comes to our gut microbiome. You can take a little bit of information, but they're often, frozen. Okay, what do we do with this information as it applies to our overall health? Now, what do I mean? Now, let's say you take a dozen or so people that had Crohn's disease and then took maybe a sample of each one of their microbiome. I would bet that they all would have similarities in their gut microbiome. how it acts, how it reacts, the types of inflammatory markers, etc. Now that's the good news. The bad news is that they have really very limited knowledge or time to really answer the question, okay, now what does this mean? It would take more than a singular event, and answering that question would require a holistic approach, not only in how our body is working at that given moment holistically, but how it has worked over a lifetime. Now, these last sections are going to look into greater detail about the ways that we can change our gut microbiome, but before we can do that, do me a huge favor and click that like button below. I'm assuming you're learning a bit, and hitting that thumbs up now right there would actually do a lot to let me know that you like this kind of content. In addition, if this is the first time that you've joined us, comment below and let me know if there's a particular gut related topic that you want me to address. Again, the gut and brain are related. I love chatting about those things. If you're a return guest and enjoy these videos, please hit that subscribe button. There are definitely numerous reasons why you might want to begin taking probiotics if you have digestion issues or looking really to improve your overall gut health. The purpose of this video is not really to go over any of those again, and realistically, if you have questions about it, feel free to watch any of the numerous podcasts or videos. I tend to talk about the benefits quite frequently, but there are even some negatives, albeit only a few, as to why you might not want to begin taking probiotic pills or incorporating them into your wellness regimen. You could say there are benefits and drawbacks, but the real issue should be whether those probiotics that you're taking will actually be effective for you. Why would that even be an issue? It's an issue because including them in your routine doesn't ensure that the body will even know what to do or that they'll be used effectively. And isn't that the reason why you would want to take supplements to begin with? I mean, before you bought anything, let's say that if you had an app that told you immediately whether or not it would work for you, you'd probably never make a mistake or waste any money, right? So how do you know if those probiotic pills are right for you? When it comes to probiotics, most people assume that they take a pill and then all the happy gut bacteria in those pills get in your intestines and then automatically do their thing. And that's not completely true. In most instances, it actually doesn't even happen. And often a not talked about aspect of probiotics when you take them is that most of them actually die within a couple of days and don't get in there and take up residence the way that you actually want them to or expect them to. And as I addressed in an earlier podcast, your body never works in a vacuum. And if you want to know whether the probiotics you take or consume will be beneficial, is more about answering the question of what exactly are you eating and how healthy is your gut to begin with, not about the potency of the pill that is marketed on the box. You probably wouldn't be too surprised if I said that the makeup of our guts and our microbiome is significantly different than what was present in humans, let's say 100 centuries ago. And as we have evolved physically, our behaviors have evolved as well, due in large part to the factors that are intended to simplify or improve our lives. We made a shift to become more agriculturally proficient, and our decision to utilize animals for foods and farming, actually that has had an effect on our body composition, but more recently technology and chemistry have had an even more profound effect on the bacterial makeup of our biomes. This effect has not necessarily always been for the better though. It's, in that quest to standardize things to improve our efficiency that we've essentially homogenized our guts, and we've lost a significant amount of the diversity that our bellies need in order to keep it running smoothly. Now granted, there are companies out there that are attempting to boost our immune system by creating products that add additional bacteria into our body. So instead of looking at a particular product and saying, okay, this will be the one that makes all the changes that I need for my belly, the better way to actually look at it would be to say to yourself, okay, I really want to biohack my body, which means that we should not be using science and biology to find that one thing. We should actually use it as a way to change our environment around us and inside of us so that we actually have more control over our own biology. Biohacking, friends, it's that important. We're all quite familiar with connecting the words gut microbiome and then associating it with our gut and bellies, but what other areas are science and research exploring to find new and possibly breakthrough information on our body's bacteria? We're all adults here, but the vaginal microbiome is a new frontier that has begun to show some promise as to how we could actually treat and prevent infections, and scientists have actually found promise in understanding the bacterial makeup of it. Now, the vagina, just like most other parts of the body, has its own microbiome. The mouth has its own, the skin has its own as well. We have many biomes and ecosystems and all over our bodies, and those should be looked at in more detail. Now, although it's only in the beginning stages of research and most of it is unknown, bacterial species like lactobacillus found in things like yogurt have been shown to support vaginal health. And interestingly, a company recently released the first vaginal microbiome test, and it found that there were over 20 specific vaginally related flora, which I think is pretty amazing. Now, while we're on the subject of taboo topics, I've covered it before and it's in its infancy, but fecal transplants are an area that has been gaining a little bit of traction. Now, I know the idea of taking someone else's poop and then transplanting it into your body is a very tough concept to grasp, but for those people who have health issues like gut dysbiosis, might be of interest in it, and it might change your mindset. Again, it's in its infancy, but what research has been done has found that introducing healthy fecal bacteria into someone who has had severe gut issues may help it to actually heal and then regenerate itself in its host. Now that's bacteria for the win. Now, I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. We've covered really a wide range of topics that should be a great starting point for you to begin researching on how your gut can actually heal your body. And if you've made it this far, click that like button, but even more importantly, hit that subscribe button. In a couple of seconds, I'll give you a couple more videos that you will enjoy, but again, thank you guys for the support. Love you.